My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Lent is a special time to go about our daily life more reflectively. The more we keep in mind our ultimate goal, which is to take heaven by storm, the greater will our effort be to please God in all that we do. Today's Gospel offers a look at the moment of the final judgment. It is a wake-up call to take our daily life more seriously. Jesus said to his disciples, "When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit upon his glorious throne, and all the nations will be assembled before him. And he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.' Then he will say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, you accursed, into the eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.' Both the blessed and the damned express the same bewilderment. What did I do? What did I do to deserve this reward, this punishment? Jesus, you clearly want us to become more aware of the deeper impact of our actions. For I was hungry and you gave me food. For I was hungry and you gave me no food. Much more is at stake in our way of acting than normally meets the eye. That is why Lent is so medicinal. As St. Augustine put it, our entire task in this life consists in healing the eyes of the heart so that they may be able to see God. Jesus, come and heal me. Make your presence in my life so vivid, so palpable, that I will develop the habit of turning each thing that I do into a masterpiece of loving you." Speaking of the final judgment, Cardinal Ratzinger wrote, "The Christian knows that he is not free to do whatever he pleases, that his activity is not a game that God allows him and does not take seriously. He knows that he must answer for his actions, that he owes an account as a steward of what has been entrusted to him. There can only be responsibility where there is someone to be responsible to, someone to put the questions." Cardinal Ratzinger continues, "Faith in the Last Judgment holds this questioning of our life over our heads, so that we cannot forget it for a moment. Nothing permits us to trivialize the tremendous seriousness involved in such knowledge. It shows our life to be a serious business, and precisely by doing so, gives it its dignity. What can happen when we leave these eternal truths out of the picture? One writer put it succinctly in this numbing phrase: lost and dispersed in the relative meaninglessness and triviality of purposeless behavior, living like a machine, pushed around by impulses and suggestions from others. Jesus, protect us from purposeless behavior. We are not machines, but rather beloved children of yours. and our only desire is to please you in all that we do. On Good Friday, we will ponder those sobering words of Jesus on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. When we hear those words, our first thought, no doubt, focuses on the religious authorities who had fought so hard to bring about the Lord's death. But it is far too easy to stop there, shaking our heads at the thought that they did not realize who it was they were crucifying. In fact, those words of Jesus, they know not what they do, need to wound us in our innermost being. We too, so often know not what we do. We can blithely offend God without giving it any thought, remaining oblivious to the impact of our sins on our Creator. We have to be aware of what we are doing. So much is at stake. In this context, sincerity with ourselves is absolutely crucial. We each have an infinite capacity for self-deception. Here's how St. Teresa of Avila explains why self-knowledge can be so elusive. She writes, "Where the devil can do great harm without our realizing it is in making us believe that we possess virtues that we do not, and that is pestilential. On the one hand, our humility is weakened, while on the other we neglect to cultivate that virtue, believing we have already acquired it. The fact is, there are countless ways we rationalize and hide from uncomfortable truths about ourselves. A person could easily insist, 'I am a loving person,' while sowing dissension and resentment all around. A man considers himself courageous without ever having his courage challenged. Another person might be proud of her patience until she is actually provoked. Someone could say to their manager, 'I am eager for feedback to learn how to improve my work.' And yet upon receiving feedback, the lips start trembling and the fangs come out. These blessed days of Lent provide a privileged time to grow in self-knowledge by means of a more honest, loving examination of conscience. By facing up to our faults and sins, we can then get on our knees and make an act of contrition. God has revealed how much that pleases Him. A contrite and humble heart, O God, you will not despise. Perhaps these words of Dietrich von Hildebrand can help us prepare to have the best Lent ever. Contrition arouses us from the sleep of unspiritual existence, from what might be called a mere living away. Contrition awakens us to a keen consciousness of the things that ultimately matter. For example, the importance of our earthly life for our eternal destiny. Mary, here we are taking the first baby steps in this season of Lent. Help us to make this Lent truly Olympic, so to speak. Show us each day the face of your beloved Son as we dive into each situation of our day-to-day lives. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help in putting them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.